Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Well, Texas is a good state, but it has its flaws, and I still think that the voting situation was atrocious, and that should have been dealt with a lot significantly better. But, yeah, Texas has its flaws, and it does need a lot of fixing, like every state does, regardless of whether it's Democrat or Republican. However, it seems that this one is a bit unsettling, and the act of crime is also unsettling. But there is a lot of hope and happiness at the end of it, so please stick around for it. We have a people that was doing the right thing, because, Americans should be rewarded for doing the right thing, and unfortunately that does not come to pass at first, because, doing the right thing is hardly ever rewarded. We have a man or a couple that was tracked down a child grabber, and essentially stopped them and got them arrested. All in good fun and all greatness, but unfortunately it doesn't end super well for them. Take a look at this clip to understand more.
911 to report a kidnapping suspect was told they are not eligible for a Crime Stoppers reward. He was wanted for kidnapping and raping a 7-year-old girl. Their 911 call led to his arrest. Fox 4's Lori Brown has been working to get answers, and she's live in Dallas. Lori.
Clarice, having people spot a wanted fugitive and then call 911 to report him seems like one of the very reasons the Crime Stoppers reward program exists. But it turns out if you call 911 instead of the tip line, you don't qualify for that reward.
We both looked at each other and we both said, isn't that guy?
The Jordans were coming home from lunch July 7th when they noticed a face they recognized from the news and a Crime Stoppers billboard, 41-year-old Leonard Neal.
He had on the same outfit as one of the pictures that was circulating on social media.
With 6 children of their own, the Jordans had taken a good look at the man accused of abducting a 9-year-old boy and 7-year-old girl.
So yes, this guy committed a horrible, horrendous crime, and honestly, I would be better off if the man was officially dead after he took the coward's way out, after doing something horrendous to a child. Some people like this deserve the, what I would call the knife and edge match, where you kind of meet the knife, and the edge kind of ends up, winning the match. But of course, this didn't happen. He was arrested. But at least there is some light at that end of the tunnel that this man was at least arrested and captured. But there's another problem that we have with the Texas law, where if you don't call the correct number for Crime Stoppers, you don't get your reward, even though everybody in their right mind would call 911 over something like that in a serious situation. I don't know about you, but the last thing I want to think is, oh, I'm going to call Crime Stoppers to get that money. And now, whether you guys think that these people are bad or evil because they wanted an actual money or money or what have you for capturing this guy, it's just like, okay, well, I like to put in this prospect. If you're going out to risk your life, especially some man that is, obviously probably potentially dangerous, you would like some type of reward for it, regardless of the fact that these people put a rapist in jail, and that's at the ends all be all. Now, whether they would have done it without the reward or what have you is neither here or there. But at the very least, they did something to protect society. They removed a very dangerous and a terrifying menace out of society, and that's what we should be applauding for. And unfortunately, as always, we don't see the government doing anything to help these people. More coming up after more on this actual topic here, because it doesn't really end here.
Police say he released the boy, but the girl was missing for 12 hours. Police say he sexually assaulted her.
That could have very easily been our oldest 2 kids.
The Jordans did not just call police. Once Neal got on the bus, they knew they needed to follow it. After getting disconnected from 911, a Dallas police officer called Kenyatta Jordan.
And once we made that right on Pope, he said, oh, that's y'all in that minivan. I'm like, yes, sir. He said, okay, well, we pulling up right behind you, so y'all can get out the way now.
Before police arrested Neal, he cut his throat. Police later released this mugshot.
I felt confident that it was him, but I just wasn't 100%. But then I let the window down, And I heard him on there screaming. I said, that's him, baby. That's him.
Later, the Jordans learned about the Crime Stoppers reward that had been offered for Neil, a most wanted fugitive. But when they asked about it, they were told they were not eligible because they called 911 instead of the Crime Stoppers number.
Does it seem like a bait and switch?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. We dialed 911 instead of the Crime Stoppers phone number. We're not able to get the reward.
As police work to build trust with the community, the Jordans say this feels like a breach of that trust.
It feels like we were misled.
On DPD's website, it urged anyone with information to call Crime Stoppers or 911. Crime Stoppers is operated by the North Texas Crime Commission, a cooperative partnership. Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia told us in a statement, while DPD does not have input on the criteria that must be met for a Crime Stoppers reward, when a unique set of circumstances arises, we certainly can open up conversations that will help improve services, prevent crime, or help solve investigations in our city.
Here's the crazy part about all this as well. Even on the report, as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, that anyone with information on his location can also call 911. Even the crime, so both were optional or available. So not only did they do the right thing in all above circumstances, they did everything correct. Now, this girl could have been sexually abused or abused worse for longer than you would want to deem wanted for. He could have just, put her into the grave. But this did not happen. So they did the right thing to call 911 in this circumstance, and they still didn't get their reward. Now, I know about you guys, but if you were doing something that you thought you were going to get a reward for, despite of what you would be wanting to, what the outcome would be, you would think that you would get that reward, that you were not being misled or scammed. Imagine you trying to do something like this, or similar if you trying to buy an Xbox. You buy the Xbox online, by the way, and then they just don't give you the Xbox, or they don't give you the computer or product that you got. You've been scammed. Well, this is a very similar situation here. You did the good deed, you catch the evil bastard, and then all of a sudden, you are now not getting that reward or that product because, reasons. They just don't want to give it to you. You feel scammed. Well, I think this is the same feeling here that these people are feeling. They felt scammed. They felt like they were lied to. And why wouldn't they when, the government says one thing and, of course, they don't get it? Because, the government is great at all and they don't take the citizens and you should rely on them 100%.
The Jordans are hopeful that will happen in their case.
They should be held to their word.
I just got off the phone with a Crime Stoppers board member. He said that the rewards are only paid to people who call the tip line based on Texas law. The Jordans believe if they tried to search for that tip line number instead of just calling 911, Leonard Neal might still be on the run. We're going to be asking Texas lawmakers if it's time for the statute to change.
Well, I think it is time for the statute to change because obviously you said one thing in your report to where they could do it, and then you pretty much didn't do it at all, which is insane to me. But again, as I said before, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There is some great deed here, and there's one thing that I want to highlight that is very, very, very key that a lot of people, especially the far left, like to point out about all this type of booey-ass racism type stuff, when that doesn't seem to be the case. Take a look.
I've been hearing a lot of thank yous and that we are heroes.
We were there as Fox 4 viewer Cliff Freeman hand-delivered a check to Kenyatta and Brianna Jordan.
I know you guys have been through a lot, and I just want to tell you, I saw your story that Lori did on Channel 4, and it just touched my heart.
Freeman is a Dallas native and business owner.
What you guys did was put yourselves at risk, and you took a bad guy off the street. And you're my heroes for that. You're welcome. You sure can.
Then Brianna Jordan saw the amount.
For $5,000. Thank you so much.
I'm trying not to tear up out here. Yeah, I know everybody gonna see this.
When I saw the story, I teared up, so it's okay. It's a good thing. Yes, it is. Tears of joy.
It's such a great happy ending that I just love to see it. The girl that was unfortunately abused and was at the very least returned to the family survived. The young boy survived. The man that actually did the horrendous crime and honestly deserved the knives to the edge Knives to the Edge match, was arrested. And these people, even though they did the good thing, was rewarded with the actual amount they were supposed to be giving it. Now, here's one couple of key things here I would love for everybody to see. What you see here is a black couple. What you see here is a white man. And what we're trying to see is, and I hate to make a racist point out of this, but what you see here is two people of obviously of two different races, and a white man is giving a black couple $5,000 for doing a good deed, for honestly doing what God's work has to be done. And what we're seeing here is that this is not a form of racism, but this is a form of actual genuine love and wanting for this couple. And what the left likes to point out ever so often is that racism is high. Racism is such a prevalent issue in this country. And even though that is such a huge issue in this country, they have to keep on making false reports or lying about it to find such racism. And the only things that we end up finding either is either the opposite side of being legitimate racist, or we have this beautiful and happy interaction here, where a man seeing where the government, by the way, failed this couple and did not go by their word, and decided to give them the reward that they ever so deserved, because he is a good man and these are good people and they deserved the reward, and he did it out of the kindness of his heart regardless of their skin color. So I think that goes to show that there is not hardest racism. And by the way, is in this horrible racist area called Texas, to where Texas is the racist capital of the place. Yeah, the capital of the country, apparently, because everybody is racist in Texas. How about that, niece? Try to show that up when you have this type of interaction happening here. It is beautiful and it's wholesome, and I love to see it. Another thing, too, as well, this is where the people, where everybody wants to rely on the government and loves the government to, honestly, think that they should do it. Well, this is one prime example, even in a red state, so-called as Texas, to where the government failed the people. They failed the citizens, and it happened to be a citizen of that state, a citizen to help these people get the reward that they have, that they ever so deserved. So the citizens helped their own. They helped this man help their own people in the neighborhood, which is again from this one song. Try that in a small town, because again, this man that was in the neighborhood, that was part of the community, helped his community, seen their community being wrongfully vilified, or not really vilified, but wronged by the government, and he decided to correct that issue and help his people, his fellow people. This is what we mean by try that in a small town, you leftists. We do not let our own, regardless of skin color, go unwarranted to be vilified or attacked or ignored by the government or violence. We help our own. That's the way we do it here. And if you don't like that, and if you want to support violence, then please keep on listening to your very violent rap songs where you hear black people and white people talk about violence, killing people, maiming people, sex and drugs, and all the above, so that way you can feel better about yourselves for them committing these heinous acts, while we over here try to protect our own people from these dangerous thugs, our own community that we care for. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care.